Welcome to another Cardano update. So believe it or not, there is actually something going on in the market. The price is finally starting to go up. And of course, I still can't confirm that the B wave is low is in, but it did react to the trend line as you can see. So maybe it's already in. To confirm that it's in, I need 5 waves up. And by the looks of it, we only have 2 of them so far. And if we are having any third wave right now of this 1-2 setup right here, we should get to at least 38.9 cents, which is the 200% extension of this 1-2 setup. Let's naturally label this, so this will be a first, second, and this will be a third, well then a fourth, and then a fifth. And once we get these 5 waves, I will be able to confirm that the B wave low is in, and that we are heading in a C wave move to the upside, which should get in this target region right here. I will talk about this very, very soon. Now, once we get these 5 waves, and again, I got confirmed that we will get these 5 waves, so this could fail. But if we do get these 5 waves, that will form a first wave move to the upside, and this will be the first wave of the C wave that I'm expecting. So after that, you will have to expect a second wave down, and then the third wave could take us to the C wave targets. Now we could also get 5 waves. Nobody really knows how many waves we will get, but the minimal requirement is 3 waves, and if we do get 3 waves, these will finish the C wave right here, like I said, and if we finish the C wave, we need to finish it about 52.7 cents, or at least at 52.7 cents, because that's the 200% extension of this 1-2 setup that we started in August. I've already talked about this multiple times. I think you know by now what this means. And yeah, that will complete the third wave of the 1-2 setup. Now, of course, we still have a long way to go until then because, this is gonna take some time. You cannot expect this to happen overnight. But at some point, we are going to test the bull market support band again. So if we do want to test the 200% extension, as you can see, that extension is exactly at the end of the bull market support band. It's at the green line. So this is going to be a very, very important zone to get through because you can expect a lot of resistance here. Now, something to keep in mind is the RSI. As you can see, we are almost overbought on the 4-hour, which is a bit concerning because, if we do get to that extension and then we want to cool off, who's to say that the price will not just do something like this, So we still need to get 5 waves to confirm that something more bullish is actually going on. If we do get to the 200% extension, yes, that's going to be bullish, but it's not going to confirm that the B wave low is already in. And honestly, I do not want to see another B wave low because that would put us below the trend line and that would not be good. Now, maybe, just maybe, we will test the trend line again for some reason. It would not be the best thing ever, but it would not invalidate the 1-2 setup, so we could theoretically do that, and you could theoretically call this an ABC structure with an overshooting B wave, but I think that's very unlikely right now, but we'll see what happens with this. So yeah, I'm expecting Cardano to get to about 38.9 cents soon, and if it doesn't, then we'll most likely get another B wave low and we will go below the trend line. And if we do that, who's to say that we will not get another move down in the second wave right here as well, Now, maybe the trend line is actually not important. Maybe what is important is the support zone. As you can see, we did not get to the 0.786 support level right here. So maybe if we somehow go down for some reason, then maybe we're just going to test this and then we start the C wave. That could also be the case. Honestly, what happens right now really all depends on what Bitcoin wants to do, because as you can see, Bitcoin is currently finally breaking out of this sideways price action, and I don't know what will happen next. I don't know if we will actually break above $74,000, but if we do, then Bitcoin is most likely going to go to new all-time highs by the end of the year, and it's most likely going to hit 100K. Which means that after that, you can expect an altcoin season. Now, keep in mind, the 4-hour RSI is currently overbought, so maybe we'll need a short correction, and if we do get that on the Bitcoin chart, we'll get that on the Cardano chart as well. So, if we do not get to my third wave target right here, before we get that correction, it's not going to be that good. Now, if you do not watch my previous videos, let me remind you what this is again. Let me remind you why we need these 5 waves and why I'm tracking the third wave move to the upside right now, which, by the way, I don't know if I mentioned already, but it should get to 52.7 cents. If we get that third wave, then we should get a fourth wave move down, which should be an A, B, C structure. And then after the fourth wave move down, we need a fifth wave up, and once we get these 5 waves, I will be able to confirm that the main second wave move down is in. And why is that important? Well, because after a second wave, we need a third wave move to the upside, and a third wave is usually the most impulsive, and you already know that, and the third wave right here could put us at new all-time highs in this cycle. So yeah, there is potential for something to happen. I mean, the support levels are being respected right now, and you want to set up did not get invalidated, so like I said, at some point we do need a third wave. Now, speaking of that third wave, if we want that third wave, we should get an altcoin season for that. I don't think the third wave will happen without an altcoin season. Now, of course, Cardano is most likely going to go up if Bitcoin goes to like 100k. And right now, Bitcoin is at about 67k. And if it gets like 100k, I think it's likely that Cardano gets to like 80 cents or so. Now, I know that sounds weird and that sounds stupid. I've actually received a comment about that. Someone told me that it's impossible for Cardano to only be at 80 cents if Bitcoin gets to 100k, and I don't think that's the case, but let me explain why. So if you look at the Bitcoin dominance chart, it's very close to getting a new all-time high for this cycle again. It's currently going up quite a lot, and if you can remember what I mentioned in my previous few videos, I mentioned that Bitcoin dominance is very close to topping, and if it does not top in October, it will most likely continue going up until December like it did in the previous halving year right here in 2020, and then we'll get the altcoin season that everyone has been waiting for since pretty much September of 2022. And if we do that, it will play out exactly like a bit over here, and you know, Bitcoin dominance is then expected to go down about 20% or so, and that's when the altcoins will finally be able to go in a third wave move. Now, I said that it is possible for Bitcoin to get to 100k and for Cardano to only get to like 80 cents when Bitcoin goes to 100k. And why do I say that? Well, if Bitcoin dominance continues going up, then Cardano is not going to go up as much as Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin gets to 100k, of course Cardano is going to go up, but it's not going to go up a lot. Cardano will go up once to get the altcoin season, and I believe the altcoin season will start after we get to 100k and after Bitcoin gets a short correction that looks probably something like this. Because if you can remember what happened in the previous cycle, first Bitcoin had this pump right here, and during this pump, Cardano did not really do anything. I mean, of course it went up, but it underperformed against Bitcoin, and once we got this pump on the Bitcoin chart, then the altcoin season happened right here, and this is when most altcoins went up like 50x. Well, not 50x, probably like 10, 20x. So even though Bitcoin went from about, let's say, 28k to about 63k during that time, this is when most of the altcoins actually exploded. And why is that? Well, if you can remember, the bear market low for that cycle was at about $3,000. And Bitcoin went from $3,000 to about $40,000, and altcoins continued to bleed up until this point right here. Then we had this correction, and after that correction, that's when the altcoin season happened. And why is that? Well, this is exactly when Bitcoin dominance topped. After this, Bitcoin dominance started going down. We went down on the Bitcoin price, as you can see, and that triggered the altcoin season. So if you can remember where Cardano was when Bitcoin hit 41.5k in the previous cycle, if we check out where Cardano was at that time, Cardano was at about 40 cents. And then in the next few months, it went up from 40 cents to $3.10, even though during that time, Bitcoin only went from about, let's say, 28k to 63k, or 42k to 63k. So, as you can see, Cardano is usually a late performer. Well, I'm judging this by what happened in the previous cycle at least. And I suppose see people complaining that Cardano is not going up even though Bitcoin is going up. And yeah, I mean, that's normal. I mean, that's usually what happens with Cardano. I mean, if you take a look at where Cardano was during this time of the cycle in the previous cycle, Cardano was exactly right here. It was just going sideways, doing absolutely nothing. So I still believe that we are on point. I don't believe we are too late. I believe Cardano is just a late performer. And with that in mind, if Bitcoin gets to 100K or maybe 150K by the end of the year, probably not, probably like only 120K, then after that happens, Cardano will finally get its pump and the third wave move to the upside. But like I said, we should still see a short-term pump, even though it's not going to be as impulsive as what we're expecting. It should still happen in my opinion. So that's why I'm tracking the wave count right here. Anyways, I hope this was not too confusing. I hope you enjoyed this video. Check out our memberships and our Patreon if you want access to one of our charts. We'll also offer personal altcoin analysis to gold members. So if you are interested in that, check out the memberships, like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.